Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome to Between the Speakers. I'm your host, Simon Rex. This show is brought to you by FUSER, as you can see behind me, the video game where you get to be a DJ and be a rock star / DJ in your own living room. And you know what? It's interesting that I'm doing this show with FUSER because I got approached by a lot of big companies, all right? I mean, I got hit up by Brusky Donvaro, which is a huge company, to do a podcast with them. I said, no, I don't want to work with you guys. I got hit up by Rasputia De La Renta. They're like, dude, could we do a podcast? I said, no, man, no, it doesn't feel like a strong connection. I got hit up by Eleanor Demani, and she said, look, can you do a podcast for me? I said, look, I love your clothing and your Italian fashion, but it doesn't feel like a proper fit, and I don't like to force things. And then all of a sudden, FUSER hits me up, and they say, Simon, we got a show for you where we talk about video games, and you get to be a complete moron. And I said, bingo, baby, we got a show. And here we are. Today's guest is Mason Ho, one of the best surfers on the planet. I mean, this guy is like, his family, legends, his dad, his uncle. This guy's like from a long line of legendary surfers. And he and I got to meet on some surf trips. I don't know how to surf at all, but I hang out with pro surfers, and I'm fortunate enough to get to go on these surf trips all the time, right? Where I'm invited to be a part of these surf trips and just hang with the boys, from Bruce Irons to, you name it. I'm Nathan Fletcher. I get to hang with the biggest surfers in the world, and I don't even surf, and all my friends who do surf are always so mad. They're like, dude, do you realize who you're with right now? You're in Costa Rica, you're in Bali, you're in all these majestic places with these legends that I know, and I don't even know how to surf. I barely even know how to surf the internet. I'm a moron, but I get to hang out with these guys, and Mason Ho is one of the boys who I've become friends with, and man, this dude's so rad. He lives on the North Shore of Hawaii. He's considered the Jimi Hendrix of surfing because he's a rock star, and his style's, he's just gnarly. Like anyone who's from basically the North Shore of Oahu, I've learned this, which is pretty much, I guess they say, the sketchiest wave on the planet is pretty much North Shore Pipeline, and he grew up on Pipeline, so his backyard is the biggest wave in the world, or the I don't know about biggest like size. I think Mavericks might be the biggest. Real surfers, forgive me if I am saying this wrong, but it's one of the gnarliest waves on the planet. And I'll tell you one thing I learned from hanging out with these surfers, because I've been around a lot of different scenes in my life. I was around like the fashion world. I was around the music industry. I was in the Hollywood scene for years. And I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging. I'm just telling you, like, I've been around all this stuff. And the surf scene, of all the scenes I've been around, I was looking around. I remember going on these trips and shooting surf movies and being the comedic relief in these movies. I was in Snapped 3. We're going to shoot Snapped 4 coming up soon with Mason Ho. One thing I learned is that these guys got the best life in the world. They constantly, all year long, are chasing the summer, right? So they're constantly on the beach, eating seafood on an ocean in some beautiful location. And as soon as it gets to be winter in North America, they're going down to the southern hemisphere, and they're in Australia or Bali. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, these dudes got it better than anyone. And it's like sort of a very intimate, small circle of people. Not everyone gets let in, and I was fortunate enough to get let into this small circle just because I just knew the right people, and they thought I was funny, and they just wanted me around to be a silly goose and hang out with them. And I remember Herbie Fletcher, who's, this guy, by the way, actually funny, really was friends with Jimi Hendrix in Hawaii back in the day. Herbie Fletcher came up to me one day at the Ruka House. Ruka's a famous clothing company. They have a surf team. And I'm at the Ruka House on the North Shore, and I got my phone out, and I'm sort of hanging with all the pro surfers, and I'm filming them hanging out and all this stuff, and, making them laugh. And he's like, who is this like non-surfer that's let into our intimate little family, and why is he filming on his Instagram? And he looks at me, and he's like, do you know how lucky you are? And I was just like, well, yeah, I do actually. He was like, no one gets let in here like this. Like this is pretty, it's family. And so I feel super stoked. I'm using surf lingo to try to be accepted. Super stoked that I got to be exposed to this world of surfers. Because the ocean scares the crap out of me. Like I grew up in San Francisco, then lived in New York and LA, and like I've tried to surf before, and there's something about paddling out into the ocean. That element of the ocean is, the most powerful force on the planet. That's pretty intimidating, dude. Like, I love using the lingo and acting cool, and I'll hang out at the beach. But when it comes to actually going in the water, like any of you guys watching this, try to go out and duck dive a wave. That's where you take the surfboard and you take it and you go under a wave that's crashing at you and you duck under it. Good luck even doing that. By the time you even get out to the lineup to catch a wave, you're so washed, like your shoulders, your cardio, you can't even catch a wave if you wanted to. So the only time I caught 2 waves in my life, one time it was in Waikiki, which is notoriously on the same island as Oahu, actually, which is like the easiest wave in the world, is where like kids and old people can catch a wave. And I caught 1 wave there on a long foam board, which is like really easy. And I rode it for like, 30 seconds, which is actually a pretty long time. But it was like, 6 miles an hour, and it was like, that was even tough. And then my boy, pro surfer Pascal Stansfield in Malibu, took me out, and he had to push me out on a wave in Malibu at Sunset Beach, because it's all about the timing. Like, you got to catch the wave. So it's like, it might be the most beautiful sport in the world, the most pure sport in the world, because it's just you and the ocean, and you got to be really in tune with Mother Nature and the rhythm of the wave, and you're metaphorically and literally and figuratively riding the wave. And man, I just know these dudes, like, they got the best life, and they're the gnarliest dudes, and they just live on a whole nother level. So we're going to get to talk with Mason Ho about what it's like to be a pro surfer and ride in the barrel, which surfers will tell you is every surfer you talk to, they just talk about being in the barrel, which is obviously like in the barrel, that it's the most magical place in the world. And even the best surfers on the planet are only in there for like a few seconds. And I think they spend their whole life trying to like duplicate that feeling that when they're in the barrel. And I don't know if I'll ever get to ever understand what that feels like. Maybe on a boogie board, you can go catch like a little mini barrel at the beach and kind of get in there and hear what it sounds like. But they say it's the energy and the smell and the just something about that vortex that you go in where time doesn't exist anymore. And you go into the flow state and you're just like in the barrel, dude. And I'm running out of breath thinking about it, so I could never paddle out. But these dudes are gnarly is what I'm trying to tell you. All right? These dudes are gnarly. And we're going to reminisce about some of the surf trips we've done together. So let's just hit up Mason Ho right now. He's going to be reporting. He's going to be communicating to me through his computer in the North Shore of Hawaii. So let's hit him up and see what he's up to. Mason Ho, where you at, big dog? Let's go. Oh, what's up, Mason? Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Simon.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, bro. Not as good as you. You are in Hawaii right now at your house. Is that right?
Yeah.
North Shore
Indoors.
Oahu? We're at North Shore Oahu? Nice.
Yep.
So you've been surfing every day, and today worked out perfect. There's no waves, so we had time to grab you so you could hang out with us for a minute, yeah?
Yes. I was going to make time for you no matter what, though.
That's what I'm saying. So, all right. So I was just, talking about how I always get to go on these surf trips with you and the boys, but, I don't surf. But, like, I get to hang out with...
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, right. No, so I get to hang out with you guys and go on these amazing trips. We've been to Bali, we've been to Costa, we've been to the most amazing places in the world. And I get to just hang with the boys, and all my friends that surf are like, dude, you guys, do you know who you're with right now? And I don't really think about it, because I just know you're the boys, right? But then like everyone's like, oh, you're with the best surfers in the world. Of all the places that you get to go, your backyard is maybe the best wave in the world, arguably, right? Pipeline is up there.
Definitely.
Where's your favorite place to go besides Hawaii?
My favorite place to go, I don't know. It's been changing so much lately. I just recently went to Tahiti. Like, I live so close to there, but I haven't gone that much growing up because it's so close, and I live in the islands and stuff. So I'm usually trying to go to snow spots or whatever, islands far, far away or whatever. But I just recently went to Tahiti, and that was that trip was the most fun I've had in a long time since with you. So that's the next stop. I think we should all go together for sure. Never been to Tahiti. Always wanted to go. Was that trip the one that you recently went to in February for the WSL event that you won? Was that trip that you won? Yeah. Dude, what was that like? Well, that was super fun, just winning like an event and all that stuff. But it was cool because I went, I went for the event, but I also went for there was going to be a week for the contest, and then I had a week where I was just going to go off and hang out with my girlfriend and just like enjoy, actually just leave the surfboards kind of at home or whatever and just hang out. And I went off and adventured out, all of so much fun. It was like, it's too much fun over there. It's actually a really good spot for you because I know you like to do all that, like the fun stuff, not just go surf all the time.
Yeah, I just like seeing new places, new cultures. You guys, I was just saying, you guys have the best life. Like I've been around Hollywood people, music industry, all that. And then I get around you guys and I'm like, oh my God, these dudes have the best life ever. They're chasing the summer. There's always beautiful women around. They're eating fresh fish on the beach. I mean, do you realize, like, you're just used to it, but do you realize how good you got it? Does it ever occur to you, or is it just normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty normal, but I do like always think about it, or anytime I have like a little quiet time or whatever, I'm always like, oh, thank you. I'm just looking off at whatever, sometimes my ceiling or the wall or whatever, anything, a little picture of Andy on the wall or something, I'm like, oh, thank you. This is perfect. I know this is perfect. Like, even though nothing's perfect, but I'm like, this is nice. Like just run to go surf and eat some nice food, and just kind of tend to the whatever. It's not as hectic as I figure if I was living in the streets and having to hustle off like or just make a living off just no waves, or I wouldn't know what to do, man. Yeah, it's like my little paintbrush is my surf. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is. You guys
I'd
are
be
artists.
lost.
Yeah, it's so crazy because I couldn't be more opposite. Like I'm exactly what you're talking about. My whole life's been New York City, San Francisco, LA. I'm in the rat race. I'm in the city, and then
you kill it.
I know, but your job is you get to be at one with nature, and that's my new thing. Is like I'm all about trying to travel and find beautiful places and become, less city guy and more nature. And it's totally different for me. It'd be like no different than you going to New York City. You're like, whoa, I'm a fish out of water. But sometimes it's good to go outside your comfort zone. You know what I mean? That's why when I go on these trips with you guys, I'm like, oh man, this is so foreign to me. I can't even imagine how you guys paddle out. I can't imagine paddling out and catching a wave like that. Now, did you grow up, you obviously, your family being legendary surfers, you had some big shoes to fill. Is it ever like, oh man, like, it's you got your own style. Everybody says in the surf industry, like you're known for your style, right? You're known as the Jimi Hendrix of like the surf industry. Is that fair to say?
That's too gnarly to say that. The real Hendrix. I couldn't imagine who the real Hendrix is. I just like the surf. I like we were almost saying, like little artists. I love doing my little touch. I like to I feel like I've seen so much surfing growing up, and it's so easy to just kind of emulate, or like do a little subtle copy here and there, but you can never really copy it, so that's what's cool about it. It's almost like maybe for rappers, if you're just taking the exact lines, you can't, you're going to get busted, but in surfing, you can't really copy someone, because if you do, it's just you, it's always going to come out as you. So it's like fun, I think, to copy all my favorite guys, because maybe one guy out of 100 might be like, oh, is that like your dad, or is that like Andy, or is that like Bruce, or well, and then, but really that everyone won't, for the most part, no one will really tell, but I don't know, it's cool. You could like copy but it's still your own style, like pretty cool. But,
so style points go a long way. Like it's not just about winning contests, but one thing I've learned is that your style and originality is so important and like respected amongst other surfers. Like it's all about style points, like how you ride the wave. Like I didn't know this because I'm new to all the surf things, but everybody be like, it's the way that Bruce stands on a board. I'm like, what do you mean it's the way Bruce stands on a board? I'm like, and then like I hang out with you guys and I'm like, oh, I'm starting to see. It's like, because if you don't know, you're just looking at a dude in a wave, but then the more time you spend, you realize like it's an expression of everyone's so unique,
Exactly, totally. It goes deep. I'm sure it's like everything else, but it's a funny one because there's so much elements, there's the actual surfer, then there's the surfboard, then there's the waves, the currents, can you read the ocean? Are you one of those weirdo read the ocean guy, or are you just a natural talent? Give me the surfboard, anything, I'll just flow and rip. Or it's kind of cool, it's kind of funny you'll see some characters, you'll see some, like you'll see all the different types. Yeah. It's a funny one. It's funny.
Yeah. Hey, so real quick, what about video games? Have you ever what was your first video game experience? Like, what'd you grow up playing?
My first one?
Yeah.
To me, my first real one because I remember doing the Ducks, the original Nintendo.
Yeah.
With the gun.
Duck Hunt,
but that was, I remember seeing that one, but right when I actually got to play video games was like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Sega Genesis.
Yep.
I think the first one, I'd like to think with the little blue Sonic would wind up and it was just one screen. Yeah. It was just, you weren't going left or right.
Yeah. Two-dimensional.
You're literally going left or right. Or not even right, really. You're just going straight. Couple little spins, but you weren't going any other way. But
one thing they've never really nailed is a good surf video game. I don't feel like it. It's like kind of one of those things that I feel like it's such a small market. Like there's not everybody understands what it's like to surf. There's just a few of you guys. It's a real small scene. Like not everybody lives on a beach that they could surf. And I don't feel has there ever been a surf video game that you actually liked, or is it just like that don't work?
Well, I think you're right. It's all just coastline. Yeah, our surfing's so like on the coast, all the coastlines everywhere, and most of the best waves in the world. There's not even like internet or phone service, or let alone TVs or anything. So it's like it even trims down. There's even less coastline. Where there's people with enough whatever to get all psyched on it all. But I do remember that they've made at least I'd like to say about 5 to 10 surf video games that I remember growing up.
Yep.
And for me, I was such a diehard video game kid growing up. So I was like, and then I was diehard surfing too. So any surfing video game, I was so happy that I remember Transworld Surf made one, and then Sonny Garcia. There was a Sonny Garcia surfer.
Wasn't
and then
there a Kelly Slater one? Was there a Kelly one?
Kelly made one. Yep. Yeah. Kelly had one, kind of almost like a Tony Hawk. Kind of a similar logo, like it must have been a similar thing to the Tony Hawk.
That one.
Kelly Slater Pro Surfer.
Yeah.
Bruce was in that. That was a cool one too. That was one that I was hooked on. Those were kind of the 3 top ones I remember. But there wasn't like a mental. There wasn't like those mental video games.
Yeah, they never really captured it. It's weird. They can't capture that one. So let's talk real quick about your boy. Sheldon, Shell Doggy Dog. I've got to meet him. We were in Bali together. He's a Grom.
He loves you.
I love him, dude. He's a Grom. So let's explain real quick. A Grom is like a younger surfer, right? A Grom.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So is he a Grom?
Yeah. Grom.
He's younger than you or your age?
Yeah, he's younger than me. He's about could be like 4 or 5 years younger than me. But so I'd call him a Grom for life, he's 4 or 5 years younger than me. But a Grom would be pretty much anyone someone like my dad could call anyone a Grom in the whole world. He's the OG surfer, and his whole class of surfers. They could call anyone a Grom. But technically, if you see any little kid, under 18, anyone under 16 and under, it looks like a little gremlin. It's like a Grom, little grommet.
Yeah.
So
I love the lingo.
And some of the original guys too, like my dad, they're kind of Groms for life. So
I love the surf lingo, man. You guys got the best lingo. And there's like a pattern to the way you guys talk. There's sort of, it's especially Hawaii. You guys have the coolest, local slang and the way you guys talk. And it's cool to be around you guys. It's like contagious. I feel like when I hang out with you guys, I start to talk like you guys. I'm like, oh, I'm a poser. I'm talking like the boys. It's so funny. Yeah.
You too. You do it to us too.
No way. That's rad. Let's talk about Shell Doggy Dog's movie that you're doing. It's called Through the Doggy Door, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Tell us about it.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, we're pretty much just working on a project right now called Through the Doggy Door. It's about one of my best friends growing up, Sheldon Paishan. He was just it's such a long story. I get so psyched talking about it, but pretty much long story short, we live on this tiny island over here. It's like this little circle, and I live on the North Shore, and it's kind of like just the center of the whole, it's pretty much like Hollywood of surfing, or whatever. It's like, if you want to be a surfer, you don't have to go anywhere else really in the world. If you come to Hawaii, you come to the North Shore, you nail a couple waves during the right time of year when everyone's here, you're going to be known. You're going to be known. You're going to somewhat, you could be pro, or whatever. But so anyway, I grew up in that. And a lot of us kids that grow up here, we have a lot of eyes. We get the whole scene on us every year to watch us. So you kind of really see who's doing good, but it's crazy to think that just about like an hour drive there's not even a road to the spot. There's not even a road to his place. It's actually like if there's a road there, he lives like 30 minutes from me, but you have to drive around the whole island because it's so rugged and gnarly. And so he lives over there, and he was never able to like even come to the North Shore and show his skills. And there's a lot of kids and a lot of people from over there that are really skilled, but they never really make it over because it's kind of rough upbringing, rough deal. So even by the time they get kind of that age where they can start driving and stuff, they're already doing some other stuff, it's gnarly. Yeah. So anyway, we grew up together, and he was always so good. And I kind of ended up making it, doing my deal. And he kind of was just stuck over there, and in the last 3 or 4 years, I kind of just was like, whoa, picked up, just like, let's go, we're going together. And that's what he's wanted his whole life. And he's actually just killing it, and he's making me be even better, gave me another little fireball. So it's just this little project. I'm trying to really capture every single genuine moment from the second I grabbed him out of there. Because when I grabbed him, it was still pretty gnarly,
Yeah. That's great, dude. You're putting the boys on. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we're filming it. I see nowadays, those documentaries or, any film, like if they just capture everything, all those genuine, crazy little moments where the people aren't really molded yet or whatever it is, it's cool to see it, and we got some crazy moments where he's just coming up out of there. And I don't know, I just we got it, so kind of good. So now we're just we were going to rush it out and just try put it out just because we're all so stoked on it. But now we're trying to properly put it together and maybe put it on a bigger platform than just the little surf deal. It's a cool story.
That's rad. Like the story of rags to riches, but in the surf industry. Who doesn't love
Full
that?
On.
So we shot for Snapped 3. Obviously, you're going to be shooting for Snapped 4, and somebody takes away the 40K bag. Someone's going to secure the bag. We love working with Chucky. That's how I met you, my boy Logan Dooley, and he produces these surf movies, and he's the one that takes me on with you guys and introduced me to everyone pretty much. And hanging with Brucey and all the boys and all the Australian homies, and I just get to hang with you guys, and so I'll be shooting Snap 4 with you. But that 40K bag's pretty solid, dude. That's like in the surf industry, that's like solid loot, huh?
Yeah, that thing's thickening by the second. It seems like.
Yeah, it keeps
I remember
bigger.
when Chucky.
Yeah.
I remember when Logan was first talking about it. It was like maybe a little smaller, and it keeps thickening. So I'm like, what? This is sick.
Yeah.
And he has such a cool idea. It's just all the best surfers it's hard to pick all of them, but it's a few of the cool some surfers that don't really get too much of a chance, and some that do. But just mix a couple together and just see what you could come up with, and it's a cool group of surfers, and it should be cool because nowadays it's really hard to make an actual surf film, with all the crew of people because everyone's so set in their schedules nowadays. And just to get by, you got to do what your schedule says, so it's kind of like these top guys, you can't really sneak in their schedule, but Logan's found this way to put us all together and get like this old school vibe surf video,
That's exactly what it is. So I know FUSER's helping sponsor the movie, and basically you know, it feels like when you watch the Snapped movies that it's more like an old school skate video than these really polished, new, high-end drone shot, overproduced, you know, high budget. There's something about it just being more raw and grimy and like iPhone shots. And it feels more like what the essence of surfing is. You know, Kobe Aberton, legend on his, you know, as we're mopeding through Bali. And it's just more like the lifestyle. So I feel like that's what Snapped brings to the table, is sort of the real essence of surfing. You know what I mean? It's just like raw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's always been like that too. Like if you watch any of the intro, when I was a kid, my favorite part was just like, I couldn't wait for the next Snapped intro.
Yeah.
Or like after the first Snapped 1 or whatever, I was like, oh, that intro was the best ever. And then when I
Man.
heard Snap 2's coming out, I was like, they got to have a gnarly intro. And I was maybe like 17, 6 or whatever. And then boom, the intro was even better. Just like jumping off the roofs, lighting fireworks on your friends' backs or whatever. And then all the good surfing, you know, I was like, oh, sure, we're trying to do that nowadays, you know, keep the iPhones going, keep any cameras going. We'll take, if you have the drone clip, we'll take it, give it, if we, hopefully it's a crash or something.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I can't wait to be a part of Snap 4. And once all this craziness with Corona ends, I remember like years ago going to Kauai, right? Which is totally different vibe than Oahu. Kauai is just a few islands, a couple islands over, but it's way more like, you know, like small town compared to Oahu, which has obviously Honolulu. And so that's where Bruce and Andy Irons, that's their hood, and, you know, Dustin Barca. And like, I'd always go hang with those guys over there back in the day. I went boar hunting one time. These gnarly dudes took me boar hunting. And I remember they were messing with me because I was like the white guy from the mainland, you know? And so I went, and I'm a city dude, and they had me hunt down a boar and with the dogs and everything, and like I eat meat, right? So I was like, I want to connect with hunting once in my life. So I got the boar, and we were like gutting it, and dude, they go, you got to eat the heart, brother. That's tradition. You got to eat the heart. So I start eating the heart, and they go, we just kidding, bro. They got me, and from now on, anytime I go to Kauai, they go, there's that crazy Howley who eats the heart.
That sounds about right.
Right?
No,
You guys always mess with us. So funny. Yeah.
The word spread through the islands.
Yeah.
We know about that here too.
Well, you know, I grew up, I don't know if you know this, but my dad lived in Oahu. So I'd always go out there as a kid. I grew up coming to Oahu my whole life. He lived by Waimea.
No way.
So yeah, so I have a connection to Oahu, but I never learned to surf. I was always like a city guy, but like, dude, like, and then especially when you go to Hawaii, you're not just going to jump in the water in Hawaii. It's very territorial.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I remember I learned a good lesson from Dustin Barca once. He was like, he didn't know me that well. Dustin Barca, for you guys listening, MMA fighter, pro surfer, legend, you know, very political guy in Kauai. And I remember he didn't know me. And it's like in Hawaii, it's no joke. Like you got to respect, there's a big respect code there, right? Like, especially if you're from the mainland. And I remember him looking at the waves with me. He's like, what do you think of those waves? And I go, honestly, I have no idea what I'm looking at. And he goes, good answer, bro. Cause he was like, he was waiting for me to be like, oh, it looks like a nice offshore. This, like, I don't know, you know? And he was testing me, you know what I mean? To make sure I wasn't a poser. And I was like, dude, I don't know. And I passed the test, dude.
He loved that one, I bet.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But that's how
I
it
call
feels
him
out
Jesus.
there. Yeah, dude. He's kind of he runs Kauai for sure. But like, yeah, it's a trip when I go out there because there's a very gnarly territorial vibe out there that's like, it's the most beautiful, peaceful people, but you guys are also got the warrior side in you too. It's like, you don't disrespect, you don't like, there's a whole code right in the water, like you're local, no one's gonna drop in on you, right? How does that work?
Well, yeah, it's well nowadays it seems like each year or as the years pass, it's getting like lighter and lighter, you know, but there's always in surfing, there's always going to be that like, cause there's usually some spots, there's 10, 20 guys like sitting in one pack, you know, and there's only one line of waves, like maybe 2 waves are going to come. So who's to say who's going to go, you know, and let alone like there or whatever, you know, there could be 5 guys on it. So, but eventually there's some sort of code, you know, it's like, there's a priority, there's manners and little respect. There's a bunch of little things that play in there that if you didn't really have a clue, did I keep thinking, you're the champ though, but then, you know, like you're saying, you don't really know, or like you're saying, you didn't really know. And for you to be that honest, those are the guys that all the gnarly guys are kind of like, oh, that's like the cool guy instead of the guy that doesn't know, but he's just like, oh, I'm going out there. Like I'm going to be right there. You know what I mean? Cause then it's kind of like, you don't really know. And you end up getting in the way of a couple people. Like when I was young, I remember just if people got in the way or if people cut me off or if their board almost hit my head, almost died, you know, like that's the only time you'd kind of get mad, you know, and you'd be like, hey, like, what are you doing? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
But yeah, nowadays I kind of just, if I get out of there alive, I try not to just get all mad at the guy or get upset, you know, like, but a lot of my friends,
dude, it's like Animal Kingdom in there. It's hierarchy. That's like some real,
like my best friend, like I have 5 best friends that will, if they're bored, if your board accidentally almost hits them, you're going to get punched. Like no matter, like you could be the nice, cool guy, maybe even almost their friend. Like,
right.
And if you like do something wrong or take their wave on the wrong day or something, you know, even if they're good, like they're just going to give you a little backhand or maybe a good one. Or, I don't know. It still goes down over here, but
that's what I like about it. It's refreshing.
I play nice. But.
Yeah, no, it's refreshing. I go out there and it's just like very, very real, especially living in Hollywood where everything's very fake and everyone's, you go out there and it's just like,
it's gnarly there.
It's real. Your whole scene out there is just like, everything about it's refreshing to just be around, like, you know, hunting, surfing, family, ohana, like respect. Like, it's just like a good way of living, bro. You're really blessed. Let's talk really quickly about the video game now. Since you're a gamer, I want to show you a clip of what it looks like. I want to see, I don't know if you're into DJing, but if you play FUSER, let's roll the clip, Alex. You could be DJing from your living room in Hawaii, having a little mini rave.
This is sick.
Yeah.
I've seen this. I've seen this.
So check this out. You're just pulling clips like, look, 50 Cent. So yeah, you could pull 50. Yeah, dude, pull 50 Cent, mix it in with some LMFAO, and you could do no wrong. Like, there's no way you could be out of tune. It's just going to perfectly sink in. You're going to jam it. Like, you're the DJ in your living room. Would you run this game or what?
Is there, oh, heck yeah. This is like the perfect game when you can like almost leave. I feel like you can leave it on when everyone's like making dinner and stuff, or like you just kind of walk over and boop, drop a track, boop, 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 just walk away, come back, like, or you could get into it and just try to get a huge. Seems like there's scores and stuff, right?
Well, yeah. So you're pulling the tracks from like a Billie Eilish. I mean, they got the Billie Eilish. You got the Clash. I mean, you got Migos. I mean, the biggest LMFAO, Post Malone, Lady Gaga. Sick. So you're just pulling like the drum track. Yeah, dude. So you're pulling you're just basically mixing, like you're mashing up the sounds. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, who doesn't want to do that? It's just like you're gonna be just having a mini rave at the house, just killing it.
That's what I mean. You could just drop your tracks, any ones you want, come back. Like, just you can almost have it like a cruise, just a cruise little thing going on. Or if you want to get serious, you could sit down and game and try to get the fat score and make the perfect track.
Yes.
Do the whole deal.
You get it. All right, we're going to send you a copy of the game. I want to let you get back to your beautiful life in Hawaii. Thank you so much, Mason Ho. Respect. You're the man. I'll see you on Snap Forest Shoot, wherever we end up going. Maybe you'll grab that 40K. Yeah, I miss you too. Maybe you'll be the one getting the 40K bag and you'll take me to lunch.
100%.
Yeah, doggy.
I'll be seeing you soon. I'm gonna try my hardest. I'll try my hardest.
My man. All right,
I will. Either way, I'm taking you to that lunch.
I appreciate you, brother. All right, be good, homie. Talk soon.
You too. Take care, son.
Okay, later, brother.
Aloha.
Right, and thank you, Mason Ho. Dude, how cool is Mason Ho? You see, did you feel his spirit? I mean, that dude is so rad. And like, if you ever go after this is over in a minute and just go to YouTube and type in Mason Ho and look what this dude does on a board. The dude is so gnarly. Sorry, forgive me for using the lingo. He's so gnarly. His style's so rad. And you just got to go check him out to understand. And then he's like the nicest guy in the world, but like, don't get it twisted. He's also, like he said, it's very territorial out there. Like, you will get slapped if you act out of pocket. Thank you guys for watching the show. Forgive the beautiful, the wind of Hawaii was blowing in his microphone during this crazy time in COVID. The technical things might be a little sketch, but you know what? I think you guys got the point. The dude's a man, and he's a gamer, and he's going to be DJing for his family, the legends, in his living room. Yes, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching Between the Speakers. Keep it crispy, babies. I know I will. Oh.